Hail to the king, baby.
What's going on, guys? It's me. It's Michael B. And hopefully my mic sounds okay. I was told I was a little fuzzy earlier and not my beard. You have one of my guests to thank for that. Tonight, we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. I know a lot of people usually come here because they want what's new and what's happening with Arcade 1-Up and Iconic Arcade. You love that recreation arcade news, but you're going to have to pause. You're going to have to wait a week. I'll be back next week with a very gripping topic on the whole, recreation arcade fad that we all went through for a number of years and what's going to happen to it come Comic-Con and the Iconic Arcade releases happening later this month. But before we get into that, we've got to talk about some stuff that's happening in the now. Get with the now, man. So just this past weekend, we had AtGames National Owners Day, and they introduced so friggin' much stuff. A lot of it's good, a lot of it's bad, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. Some of it is contradictory. So we're going to talk about that, and I have compiled an amazing group of guests to help me navigate through that. People that are very fond of Xbox, AtGames, moderate with AtGames, and one person who has made his distaste of AtGames very well known. So it should be a very interesting discussion. On top of that, we got to talk a little bit about what's going on with console gaming. I know not everybody here is the biggest console gamers in the world, but I have been gaming all my life, and I'm still very interested in what's happening with console gaming, except lately it's been nothing but bad news. So we're going to talk about all this stuff that's happening and what the future looks like for console gaming. Anyways, thank you so much for being here tonight, guys. We're going to have a hell of a show. This is Chill and Chat, and if I can find my mouse, I'll get to the intro with Michael B. All right, guys, like I promised, I have an excellent group of hosts. Tonight, we're going to start talking about AtGames, and I advertised some individuals that had different fondness with the company. You can each try and guess who they are. So first up, we've got my buddy, my partner in crime, my chauffeur with the ammunition, 19K Fox. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. I'm here with all my moderate positions on Xbox.
Yeah, sure. 19K Fox, you actually did a show on Saturday, born on the 4th of July. I figured that was like a second birthday for you. I'm surprised. Shouldn't you have been putting out fireworks and liquor for Kid Rock? What were you doing?
Well, I do that in my spare time. That's every day. That's the Monday through Friday job. No, I had a big deal on July 5th,
wow.
our anniversary. Yeah, my 29th wedding anniversary. So unfortunately, I could not have the show on Sunday. Thought I would do it on Saturday. Some things are a little bit more important.
That's true. That's why I'm skipping my anniversary to be here with you guys tonight.
Good man.
I knew it. I'm just joking. That's not true. Next up is a face you will all recognize if you are on the leaderboards on the AtGames Legends pinball devices. It's RTX Pinball, one of the best individuals in the pinball space, one of the greatest pinball players of all time.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Time.
And soon to be the proud owner of a multimorphic P3. That's what they're called. Hey, look at the space. It's ready for it. Troy,
right.
how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited for the P3. It's coming. I've got room now. I've moved some stuff out of here, so I'm getting excited. So
that shuffle is always the toughest part, isn't it? So, what did you move out? Was it your ALPHD? Is that what
the HDP and the micro are both other places, and my HD is still at my job, so it's there.
Nice. So, even at your job, you got pinball. I love taking pinball breaks. That was one of the benefits of having my Elvira upstairs for a little while. Like, I'd have a stressful call at work, and I'd be like, "Well, screw this, I'm playing pinball." And last but not least, I thought he was going to be late for the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the best voice in all home arcade pinball, Billy Woods Mods. Billy, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Yeah, my favorite thing about this is both you guys were on P-Dub's channel last week. So the minute he gets in there, he's going to say, "What am I watching, a rerun?" He can't help but get mad because he thinks everybody copies him. But he would know if he was a regular viewer. Chill and Chat with Michael B. You two have been on my show before. We did a pinball roundtable a while back. And originally, I was going to try to get Chaotic BPR to join us tonight as well. But unfortunately, he said something about real life responsibilities and going to work. I don't know. I don't think he's really that committed to YouTube, right?
Come on. Allow the excuse.
I know. What a loser.
Come on.
So we had to replace him with 19K Fox, who I feel has just as much love and interest in the AtGames pinball platform as Chaotic.
I think that's accurate. That's fair statement.
He's got a reputation for what I hear.
So anyways, we're going to talk about two topics tonight, and it's such a good mix for everything that's going on here because obviously with AtGames, you've got people that are favorable, people in the middle, and then people that probably had a bad experience and aren't very favorable. We're also going to be talking a little bit about console gaming, which is crazy because I know 19K Fox and RTX, you're both big, current gen console gamers. Mm-hmm. And Billy Woods Mods, you don't give a shit about modern gaming.
Not anymore. It's too expensive. Too expensive.
Well, it's going to get more expensive. That's one of the things
we're talking about. Physical games now? Come on.
It's not even open, Troy. What are you doing?
Well, I accidentally ordered two. So I have this and I have this. I got a good deal twice.
Yeah. Nice.
Forgot I ordered.
Let's get started with AtGames and talk about everything that was announced during NOD. And I actually did some work this week. Oh, before we do that, we got to say hello to the people in the chat. I can't forget to do that. People like their shout outs. I'll do the top 10 and then just say a couple hellos. So be patient. Sorry, guys. Wait for me for a second. So hello, DJ Beat Reviews. Keeps coming here asking for news on Partycades. I don't have any news on Partycades to share with you, brother. I'm sorry. Nova Sonic's here. Hi, Michael B. and friends. It's really sad times for console gaming. I guess I'll be focusing on my backlog and retro gaming. It's okay. I'm getting old anyways. He text messaged me 65 times during my dinner tonight about what's going on with console gaming.
Anyone to know if you were going to watch F1?
Yes, he did want to know that. Milkman Classics here. What's up, Mike B in chat? Happy Monday or whatever. Oh, I hate Mondays, and I'm not too happy with Sony either. That's why I'm repping the PlayStation shirt tonight. I got to be the heel, the bad guy, right? Tim York, Dr. Torque. Buy what you want now. Prices for electronics will continue to rise. Chips, memory, silver, copper are all in short supply. Yeah, it's not going to get better, guys. For people coming here hoping there was some silver lining, it's going to get much worse. Much worse. John Fritz is here. Good evening, everybody. Chris Nesbitt. Can't wait for the show. When are you coming back to Facebook? Never. I've been permabanned, unfortunately. Retro Ron RL, what are you streaming while the USA soccer team's on? That is un-American. Well, that's because I'm Canadian. That we are going to have to say no to your entry to Comic-Con or arrest you if you come in. Kidding. Screw soccer. Don't say that, Retro Ron. Like, my wife is so scared I'm going to get detained or something. Please don't say anything like that. You'll prevent me from coming and going to Cleveland. Josh Dendy's here. He says, woo, Kevin Flynn, Mike, any word on Arcade 1-Up releasing
There it is
a
again.
new partycade?
For God's sakes, man.
Is it possible
Dead.
Kevin Flynn and DJ Beat Reviews are the same person? Inquiring minds want to know. And Rattlehead 1980 again says, woo. All right, so now we're down to the rest of everybody. Cornercade's here. Satoshi Matrix, RTX Pinball. I know that dude. Little Aliens here. Thank you very much, Jason. Ringer Steve's here. Hi, Ringer. It was great playing golf with you. I forget what night it was. I think it was last Thursday. What a return to the game, and it was a joy. We got to do it again soon. We also got a $5 super chat here from my buddy Stock Jock. Let's get the night started off right. Mondays just aren't Monday without Michael B. the Game Genie. Who cares about console gaming? Robotron forever. Yay, Robotron. Boo. Everything else. Israel Gaming's here. What's going on, everyone? It's me, Israel. Anyways, Israel did some kind of gun review on some kind of product he got there the other day. Everybody go check it out if you get a chance. The real Zimmer's here. Zim, nice to see you. We missed you golf the other night. I think I said hello to Satoshi Matrix. Billy Woods Mods. I know that guy as well. Great voice. We've also got ST15, John Fritz, Mr. Murph Dog, John McGovern, JR33, good to see you. Steve's Retro Gaming, James Hates Everything, Fat Hog 2 pins. He recently picked up 2 Pro Stern pinball machines. A lot of people are moving towards the real pinball machines. 2.8, that is true. Yeah. Nooner's here as well. Who else we got? Darren Kane's here, former Arcade 1-Up employee. His birthday was on Canada Day. Yeah, nice. Happy belated birthday. Bill's Retro Gaming Show's here. Dennis B25. You don't know him, do you, Troy?
Nope, never heard of him.
Not familiar with that individual. No, me either. Yeah. We've also got Bobby1 ALU. Something about chaotic. Saiyan Spirits is here. MT Ski Bammer. MSU Rich. Leon Spiegel. Pinball Junkies, Devastator Omega, Brooklyn Menace, who my favorite thing about his coverage of Too Many Games is he covered the Evercade booth and they had one of my thumbnails from my video up. I'm like that. I like things about me. So if anybody wants me to give them a shout out, do something about me. Wagner's Tech Talk. Haven't followed Nod. Curious what's new with AtGames. Wagner, a former AtGames employee, doing his own stuff now, making his own games. Guys, you got to go check that stuff out. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the future. We've also got Showgecko, and want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay, I think we're almost there. Super Dimensional, T-Slayer, Dread Train. Now let's start with the excitement. So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, let's talk about the first announcement from AtGames from National Owners Day. The mystery pinball machine was introduced, and it's 1776 American Revolution from their American Moments pinball line. Only thing I'll say is justice for quilts, which, you kind of got to say. But on top of that, I'm not American, so I don't understand it. Who wants to jump in first and explain if this is something that you feel there will be desire from a retail standpoint? Will they sell a lot of these? Let's start with you, Troy.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I like the theme of the table. 1776, I think, has a lot of potential with cannons and redcoats and rebels and all that. I actually like the artwork, even though it needs to be curated, of course. Will it sell is the biggest question. I think being the 250th anniversary, it might, but at the same time, this is nowhere near going to have the appeal of an Attack from Mars or something like that. There's just no way. So, but at the same token, I thought TMNT was a great theme for them. I would have thought that they would have waited until they got something maybe like a SpongeBob or something that would sell really well. We'll see.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people say, hey, they would just rather have a black cabinet and kind of skin it themselves. But I think this is fine. I mean, they're going to have to change the front cabinet art. They're obviously going to have to take care of something to make with the buttons and stuff. You can't have his face covered up with a nudge button and stuff like that. But stuff like that just needs to be cleaned up. But it's early, so who knows?
What about you, Billy Woods Mods? What's your thoughts on the 1776 American Revolution AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP? Is there going to be a demand for this?
No. And look, this is Dinosaur Dynasty all over again, but I will preface this also by saying this is like buying an American flag made in China. Like it does not make sense to me at all. I mean, look, artwork looks cool, sort of, but it's the AI slop that we've come to know from AtGames and just doesn't do it for me. Sorry.
Now, if there's one person in this lineup that I know is as American as apple pie, it's you, 19K Fox. So, yeah, like put aside, your own personal experience with AtGames and just look at this from a direct product standpoint. Do you see a desire for this from, people in the U.S.? Will they buy it because of patriotism? Is there big, this isn't Civil War. This is the, where they beat
Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War. Is there Revolutionary War enthusiasts, recreationalists that would be interested in having something like this?
I wonder if they could have found a more niche product. You have to find someone who is excited about virtual pinball, and they're also American, but really an enthusiast in regards to the Revolutionary War. I think this is a little too niche. I think first off, I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks. I mean, they could have had a little more America on it, a little more flag, a little more, red, white, and blue. I kind of think that it's a good idea. I think their heart was in the right place, but I think that Americana would have been a better way to go.
Agree.
Flags and, national monuments. Imagine the Alamo and the Statue of Liberty and hot dogs and whatever, Corvettes, that kind of stuff. That could have been something you could have had a lot of fun with. So I don't hate the idea. I like their heart was in the right place, but you want to hang your hat on something that, I don't know, is either a big license or a big recreation of a classic pinball machine. I think that's what you want your theme to be. For this to be a table is fine. It's cool. No problem. To skin this and this and think this is going to sell, minus the fact that you do get the SSF kit built in, which is nice. It's a good feature. And minus the price, which is, they're getting up there. I think that they may have missed the mark on this. Not because the theme isn't cool. It's just, I don't think it's going to be a table seller.
Okay, so a couple things here on the price, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think AtGames wants to charge as much as they're charging for the 4KP. That doesn't help them at all. I think AtGames' focus is not to be so much of a hardware company as it is a software company. So making your product so expensive that it's harder for people to justify buying is not their goal. And it's just one of the things, for some reason, after this product first came out, the expense of making it with, of course, their markup, because nobody makes products to break even, whatever markup they need to cover overhead, other things like that, it's got to that point where it is that expensive, and that sucks. I agree with you on this. I don't think I would have went with, if you want to go on the American side, I would have done a patchwork, maybe of all their games, and implemented everything from a quilt, if you will. But you know what I mean? They're talking about all these American moments. Instead of making it, one specific American moment, just make it all of America. Put in everything that people voted on in that American moment things and make it the USA pinball machine. If you want to focus on Americana, do that. I agree. But I also agree with you, and my constructive criticism for AtGames is, if you want to move machines to a new user base, new fans, other things like that, I think the focus should be on, what they did with Turtles, and go with, these absolute, gangbusters IPs. I remember some of the AtGames staff telling me a long time ago that they were working on a Hasbro license. They could have done Transformers, like a Transformers pinball machine with an AtGames original pinball. That's slam dunk. That's the kind of stuff that would get people excited. I would love to see that. Or, of course, recreation of classic pinball machines. And, of course, with the Gottlieb refresh coming out, now would be a perfect time to do a haunted house, class of 1812, Black Hole. Yeah. So that's really my take on it. I don't have a problem with them being proud of their own products. Like, we're proud of our Dinosaur Dynasty game. We're proud of our Police Street Patrol. But you also got to ask the question, who is this for at the end of the day? Who's going to buy this table? Maybe if you're going to do something that's based on your own IP and you're based on something like Scott Sheldon's work, maybe it's people that are going to upgrade from the HD to the 4KP. That's the kind of people you're going to get. But outside people, I don't know how it's going to go. Anybody have any thoughts about what I said there, or you want to recant me, or debate me on it?
An artwork upgrade kit, or just maybe that's the way to go for some of these ideas that maybe you don't know to commit to a machine like this. Maybe it's a bit much, but to have this as something you can purchase, maybe you want to reskin your table in this, make that available. It's kind of a middle of the road type of approach, because like I said, I don't hate it, but I don't know that this is going to sell that many machines, just because it's very niche, and I don't think it's going to hit everyone exactly how they wanted this.
They did that a couple of years ago. I don't know, Troy and Billy, if you remember back in the old ALU days for the ALU 1.1, they had art you could actually buy and apply to your ALU 1.1, and then covers that went over it. What do you think of that idea? Just selling a black ALP 4K, if you're not going to go out and spend a ton of money on like an amazing theme to go on the side, like Turtles or Transformers, just sell a black one and then sell additional art or covers that you can put on your machine.
That I think is a great idea, but one thing to kind of roll back on this, I don't know if it was Troy, but I know I heard it somewhere, and it's a great idea. They kind of missed the boat, during National Owners Day. Put this out for $1,700.76 or $1,700.76. You know what I mean? Like that right there is like, I think they would actually sell at that price, to be honest. Now, going back to the idea of having just a skinless, for lack of a better term, machine, great idea. But one of the things that they do is they theme the machine, right? So you fire up your Addams Family, it's Addams Family. Fire up your Attack from Mars, it's Attack from Mars. What do you do with that? So, does it just boot up to a black AtGames screen and then you get nothing? So
yeah,
they would have to figure out, a generic theme or something, or maybe you download your personal preference of, your startup video. But a themeless machine is a great idea, and I think would sell a lot. Don't necessarily know, but it would sell. Definitely would sell.
I think there's an opportunity there to do what has always made AtGames really special, is get the community involved. Like if you have a black machine and you're talking about like, oh, wonder what the startup screen is going to be, allow people to come up with their own startups, allow the community to develop startups and share them together. I think that'd be gangbusters. You get a ton of support, a lot of creative people out there doing stuff like that. Again, that's one of the things that always made the AtGames so special, is the community involvement. It's what made the ALU great. And a little later on, we're going to be talking about General Loader 2.0. It's what's going to make this product so great again, is the community involvement.
Oh, yeah.
So my take on this for skinning, my Discord actually talked about it kind of at length. We talked about you doing a black 4KP, and then maybe you could do skins of their best IPs. So you had like Nature's Fury, or you had you couldn't do the licensed ones anymore, except for the ones that you yourself licensed from the AtGames original. So you had your Sea of Thieves, you had your Killer Instinct, you could do Battle Toads if you really want to go crazy. But the thought was like you could kind of do it a la carte and say, hey, but the thing is, then you gotta, how many of the particular skin are you going to sell, and how do you handle that expense versus something like buy stuff arcades. Multimorphic does, we were talking about them too, they do magnetic sides, and so those are really expensive. They're like $500 for the side art, so you couldn't really do that either. So it really has to come down to how do you want to go with this. But I like your idea a lot of going American moments and doing the whole spiel, because Route 66 would be cool, and you have the national parks, and you could really do that really well. And then you could have a whole national or American Moments startup screen, and I think that would be really cool, actually. So it's a great idea.
Yeah, what is it? What they always call America something about like this patchwork nation of all these different cultures and stuff like that. So I think it's just
I
fitting.
like it.
Yeah,
Melting pot edition.
melting pot edition.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying. Obviously, they were very careful in the video for this, showing that artwork isn't final.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity there to go back on this. I think a lot of the things they're doing with AI is fine. Moves business along, makes them look a lot more professional. But when it comes to your table art, hire an artist, hire a real artist, because you could do something special here that will really catch eyes. This AI stuff, it's cheap, it's easy, it allows you to be professional. But when it comes to art on pinball machines, it is not the way to go.
I mean, AI art is becoming more and more prominent because of the amount of stuff that needs to come out digitally, especially. You don't have very big margins, so it's got to be pretty cheap. But at least with AtGames originals across the board, they've always vetted their stuff. Like, they're not going to come out with 6 fingers, whereas some of the Zachariah stuff just comes out and it's just a mess. So at least they're looking at the AI and cleaning it up and stuff like that. So I would expect that if they do come out with this, that it's going to be at least taken care of, and the flag will have the right number of stars and things like that need to be right. So
yeah, like we had the issue with Quarter Arcades back when they released their TMNT, and they used AI back then to help like whatever it was with the side art, and we got a ghost turtle toe on our side art somehow. So it's good that people are watching out, making sure that stuff doesn't happen. So
vultures.
Just eagles instead of vultures.
I knew that was going to come up.
Anyways, like for me, like I have a hard time on this because I obviously already have an AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP. Yeah. I'm Canadian. I don't understand the appeal, patriotism behind it. So it's really hard for me to talk about it other than, just to talk about my preference, what I'd love to see them do. So
wait a second. So as a Canadian, you're not patriotic?
No, I don't give a shit. Like if they release a table with like maple syrup and beavers, I'd be like, well, good for them. I don't care.
like a Bob and Doug McKenzie table, maybe.
See, that's
I'd be all over that. Yes,
that's not patriotic. That's just good entertainment.
I would buy that. Yeah,
that's patriotic.
Ren and Stimpy. Now we're talking.
There you go. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyways, move on from that one. I don't want to spend too much time on it. That one's been talked about a lot. Let's go on to something that's a little bit more interesting now, because that wasn't the only new product they talked about at the event. They gave us a tease about something that's new, but also something that may relate to the past. So we got an update from AtGames Dr. Seuss. Something fun is on the way, Q4 2026. And they specifically mentioned Pincade. Now, I don't have any idea, no inside information about what this actually is. But years ago, the YouTuber by the name of Toycade released a video about a potential AtGames Pincade. And at the time, it was prefaced kind of like a sharpened pinball machine. So basically what it is, it's a one-screen, smaller version of a pinball machine without a back box that would play Legends pinball games. So that's kind of what's out there now. If you have any advanced information, Troy, because I know you're really close with AtGames, feel free not to discuss it. But otherwise, let's jump in and kind of talk about this. Let's start with you, Billy Woods Mods. What do you think about the idea of a Pincade, and why do you think AtGames would want to go with an even smaller device for people to play the AtGames Legends connected pinball environment?
I honestly have to wonder if it's more of a multicade than just a pinball machine.
I wondered about that too. Yeah.
So there's the ice cold beer thing, or even what was that arcade thing that
the arcade.
Yeah, the arcade. That's right.
I could see it being something like that. Yeah.
That's maybe where I'm thinking they might be going with something like that. That would be pretty cool. I think it was like a $5,000 price tag for it, which is,
not the arcade.
No,
the arcade.
That was very premium too, and custom made.
It was very, it's a phenomenal machine, but I'm thinking maybe something like that. Or if they go this route, honestly, I think they'd be missing the boat if they didn't put an HDMI out on it. to, give us an extra screen, or if it's really tiny, or even if it's just, maybe it's a box, like Cleveland Software sells, where it's just, like a plunger and some buttons, start and nudge and flipper buttons. Who knows? I'm interested to see what it is, but it's certainly not anything that I would pre-order. If it comes out on a pre-order, I'm just gonna.
We're gonna talk about that later, Billy. You know that's coming.
I'm just gonna leave that right there.
19K Fox, you next. What do you think of the Legends Pincade announcement, and why do you think they would be looking at coming out with a new pinball form factor?
Well, fans of my show remember the 15 form factors from Arcade 1-Up back when they had limited licenses. What else are you going to do? You're going to come out with every possible version imaginable. This is along those same lines. I mean, Pincade, obviously it's pinball, arcade, put it together. Am I mad about it? No. Is it something I'm excited about it? No, because this is where it all kind of started. Generic form factors, and we kept wanting more. Well, we've kind of come full circle. These small 3/4 scale companies have really done pretty good jobs at recreating some of the greats, right? And we're kind of spoiled now. So when we see a regression, I just can't get excited about it. I mean, they're going to try to do the best with what they have and offer lower price points, to try to satisfy some people that are, frustrated with that. I get that, but I'm not going to be excited about this at all unless it does turn out to be some big premium thing, and then we can talk about it more. But if this is where they're going, not for me.
Troy, what's your thoughts, man? Again, I want to be careful because I know you are close with them. So if you know anything, feel free to say. I don't want to talk about it.
I have no inside information about any of the Pincade. I haven't heard of anything about this, to be honest. In fact, I'd never seen that they had come out with anything like this. My idea is the Sharpen. If that was in fact an AtGames type of product, I would be all over that. I love the idea of kind of a AtGames Nano, so to speak. I use, as I put up here, the Legion Go 2 in vertical with just like a vertical 3D printed grip, which is really awesome for pinball, whether you're playing Zachariah Pinball or Pinball FX or whatever. This form factor is really awesome. Now, the problem is, if you get much bigger than, this is an 8.8 inch screen. If you go too much bigger, it's too cumbersome. You're not going to be able to stick it in the bag. So to me, it has to be small enough.
That's what she said.
So I knew the idea of talking about screen size was going to be the show of maturity here, but at any rate,
what's the weight? Is it girthy?
I do like a little bit of girth. Legion Go 2 has some good thickness to it, a nice good weight.
Right. And it's always in how you work it, not so much about the size.
Exactly. You really gotta.
Right.
But I think if they get too much bigger than that, like if this is a 18-inch screen, I think that's too big. I think unless it's a true vertical machine, like Billy Woods is saying, that I think has some potential. If you go to the AtGames Ultimate Mini type of thing that can do pinball as well on a higher scale than the original Mini could, then maybe you have something that works here. But the idea of a nice portable that you could run your same AtGames library across all platforms would be pretty awesome.
So just now, as we were talking about this, I realized that on our next slide, talking about Dr. Seuss, this is kind of answered. But before we get there, I did want to mention that Pincade could obviously be what was discussed before for, a smaller version of the AtGames Legends with one screen. The other concept I had was like a stand-up, like the AtGames Legends Ultimate Mini. Arcade 1-Up actually did a prototype of this. They looked at doing a stand-up arcade version of their pinball, and we saw some leaked images of it years ago, so maybe AtGames would look at that. But I'm actually going to jump ahead a little bit in the slides than I originally intended, because I think we might have answered our own question here on what the Legends Pincade could be. So, James brought up, I don't think there's any new games. Oh, there's more Dr. Seuss news, buddy. A lot more Dr. Seuss news. So
A lot.
well, there's three different announcements. That feels like it's a lot of Dr. Seuss news. But there is new Dr. Seuss games coming. Cat in the Hat comes back. Horton Hears a Who. I think, honestly, they're just spiting me because they know I want Hop on Pop, and they're not giving it to me.
It's not going
I find that so
Like
frustrating.
Robotron, no way.
No way. So we're getting two new games from the Dr. Seuss universe in 2027. But probably the most telling piece here about what the Legends Pincade is this next announcement. Dr. Seuss Pinball coming to PC and mobile. And what do you see right here next to the cat's hand? That's an iPad, right?
Looks that way.
You know what an iPad could fit very
iPad Mini, I
comfortably-
imagine, by the looks of it.
iPad Mini or iPad.
Mhm.
You know what that could fit very comfortably in?
Backpack.
Box. Pincade.
A Pincade, exactly like what Carl has with his Nintendo Switch, where the Switch fits in and then becomes this, miniature pinball device. So I would throw a guess out there that the Legends Pincade is in fact a device to use with a tablet that would allow you to play Legends Pinball in a more familiar form factor.
Here's a bigger idea. What if the iPad, cell phone, folding phone option here becomes the back glass for the other one?
Ooh, that'd be cool. That would be really
Right?
cool.
And it'd be kind of like a Switch, so to speak, but that would make it the back glass. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you'd have at least a 2-screen again.
Yep.
Mhm.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think it's
sense.
possible. I think it's more likely that the iPad becomes the screen. I think there's a really good structure out there. They're already making these devices. Like Carl has one. A lot of other people have one where you can just slide an iPad in and have it be a, ready to go pinball machine, which then they could sell at a very cheap price, cheap installation for a new user base to get into the AtGames Legends ecosystem.
Sure.
Yep.
My solution would require a lot more engineering too. So,
Yep.
be honest.
And then where do we put the third screen? Like, do you have to bring out your old Nokia? Like, is the DMD going to be on the Nokia?
That's a
The
smart
third
one.
screens, we don't need a static back glass for the most part anyway. So
Fox,
People are-
what do you? Oh, sorry, Troy, keep going.
nothing. People are iffy about that third screen. But I don't get it.
I will tell you, Arcade 1-Up got a lot of shit back in the day for suggesting bring your own phone for the
the DMD?
Dragon's Lair
Yeah.
cabinet. So,
Yeah.
Fox, what do you think of these announcements specifically? The two new Dr. Seuss games. I mean, that's cool. Like, cool for the kids.
Yeah.
The Dr. Seuss games were fun. What do you think of the announcement about moving their pinball platform onto PC and mobile? That's the big one here that I want to really highlight.
Well, as long as I get my "It Happened on Mulberry Street" table, I'll be fine. I'll be happy. It's what I've always wanted. This makes too much sense. Go
Yeah.
with a software option. Try to port it to another device. How about a device that everyone has, tablet/smartphone? That's it. To me, that's a no-brainer. Whatever form factor that you introduce, whatever holder you have for a tablet, it's I don't know if that's as exciting as just making it available on mobile. Make AtGames and all their tables available on mobile. And to your point, you just introduce a whole bunch of people that maybe don't want to commit to a whole machine to your product, your software. And then that to me makes sense. That seems like, I know development, there's some costs there, but that's the cheapest way to really broaden your audience. So
Yeah,
for my
100%.
money, that's where I would spend my money on that if I were at games.
Now, anybody here previously an iArcade owner or enthusiast? RTX, Billy Woods mods.
I went and I kickstarted iArcade and then I backed out because I wasn't 100% sure where it was going to go. It was one of the only times that I backed out of it.
It went far, buddy. It went
For
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
was
I see
I
where
had
it
a
went.
goal,
Yeah.
baby.
suck it, Billy Woods mods. You missed.
Yeah. You missed out on 2 good weeks of party, buddy.
It was the only time that I've backed out of a Kickstarter. True story.
Well, I will say towards the death of the iArcade, they had one final Hail Mary idea, which was to open up their gaming platform and their download base onto mobile phones. It was really sad. It was really pathetic during that final announcement where, John was just there playing the device and he was like, what could have been? And we were all like, it's a stupid idea. No one wants to play arcade games on their phone. I will say this is the exact opposite. I mean, it's not easy to play these pinball games. I mean, realistically, outside of owning an AtGames device, you can't play any AtGames originals. So the fact that they're coming out with a mobile application allowing people to play these games, especially young kids who they've been trying to attract for years, who mainly play shit on tablets and on phones, this is a brilliant idea. And the great thing about it is you're going to be able to exponentially expand your user base depending on how good the software is and other things like that. I think that's a slam dunk idea for AtGames. I hope it's super successful. I hope they can move other stuff out there, and it's positive for the community too, because if this takes off, they have a massive expansion with their actual install base, user base. That gives them more confidence to go out and get rock solid IP, to go out there and say, okay, we're not going to do natural history. We're not going to do Dr. Seuss. We're going to go out and get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're going to go out and get G.I. Joe. We're going to go out and get Transformers, because then the risk, the return on investment and risk is much more palatable for them to take. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
Well, and the difference between arcade gaming on a slick tablet is that, the controls are kind of, you have to be precise. If you're trying to do a fireball, it's hard to do a quarter circle on a virtual joystick. Here, you're just hitting buttons for flippers. So it translates so much better, in my opinion. So I think this will be, the barrier of entry is very low. It'll be fun. It's just going to be one of those games where you just kind of open it up, whether you're waiting on the bus or you're on a plane or, supposed to be working, but you decide to do something else and just play a little bit. I think that it's a good idea.
The possibility for double dipping here is pretty high.
Yeah.
So people are going to either already have these games on the cabinet and love them, or say, hey, I just want to play them, like TK Fox said, or they're going to buy them here for their kids, and they're going to fall in love with them and then get a micro. And then maybe that's not good enough thing, and they go up again and get a 14P with the universal packs. So it introduces them to the ecosystem, and then they just come along.
Now, I have to wonder, too, with the announcement of cross-platforming, too, and I'm sure that's not going to happen, but, it's an interesting prospect, too, that maybe this is one of those, cross-platforming ideas where maybe if you own it here, you can play it there. Maybe it's ad-supported. Who knows? But, one of the things that they like to tout is, who's making these games, right? So maybe Firefighter Wildlands and Street Patrol and all these original Scott Shelton games will then really become that kind of talking point for them, that, that push. Well, this next one, Scott designed this one too, and check out EMS because, EMS is going to kick ass. It's, I really like this idea of them branching out, becoming more than just in this platform, everything else. And, maybe if this is a success, maybe, the console gamers may start seeing these. Imagine being able to play these on your Switch or, your Xbox or PlayStation. Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, but, it's definitely one of those things where this broadens their horizons, maybe helps, line the coffers a little bit so they can do more R&D and maybe invest a little bit more. Maybe, Scott and Tampa Tech get more time to design some of these tables. So these are like the premium specials versus just, the ones that, they're taken out of, Zaccaria Pinball and spitting them out. So,
and Steam does sales all the time. So Steam would be a great option.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I like this idea.
19K Fox, anything else to add?
No, this gets my stamp of approval.
Yeah, mine too. I think this is a really smart move, AtGames, and it further leads
too.
Oh, Troy, go ahead.
The games themselves. So the Cat in the Hat, the original one, was terrible. So I like the fact that they're bringing that one back because the original one was just not a good game. I love the fact that the ball had stripes on it. That was really cool. They did some really cool stuff with the Dr. Seuss one. So that one coming back is nice. Horton Hears the Who, I think, will be really good too. And the fact that I would have to assume that Scott Shelton's designing these, or at least his team. So that in of itself means they're going to be better games. So I'm excited about that too.
Go.
Troy, can you do me a favor? I know I'm probably not in the best of terms with AtGames and PK and everything right now, but can you convince them, like, if they're going to do more Dr. Seuss, just do Hop on Pop for Mike. Just do that one solid.
I don't
for
even know
me.
Which one that is.
Hop on Pop
That's a
is
great
Dr. Seuss's greatest book, and I have sold more AtGames Legends pinball.
We need the
products over
Lorax.
years.
And Horton Hears the Who were the biggest two that I could think
No,
of.
don't
that we
fight me.
didn't have.
Just ask them.
Hop and Pop. Okay, fair enough.
One
fair enough.
for the Mikester.
No,
I just want
no
Hop
green
on
eggs and
Pop.
ham. What are you talking about? Come on.
It's funny that there's only two of them. I thought there should be 3 or 4, depending on the past packs. So maybe it's Hop and Pop. They're just holding out on you. Who knows?
But why stop at Dr. Seuss? Why not, like, I don't know, where the monsters are, or where the sidewalk ends, or, you know, the snail that's up your nose, or whatever the hell that one was called. Like, you could have some pretty cool black and white tables too, you know? Like,
Yeah, where the sidewalk ends in black and white, pinball table would be sweet. Talk
Spy
about a
versus
great
Spy.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, it might be different
Lorax,
now,
no
but
way.
for my limited access to AtGames, they are very risk adverse. Like, they do not like taking chances when it comes to spending money on IPs. So I think that the reason why it's Dr. Seuss right now is this is very strategic. They think this is probably their most attractive IP for young children. And the idea is to get this on mobile platforms so young children could possibly get into the ecosystem. They've been focused on kids for 2 straight years. Like that, it's all about that family kids experience.
Yep.
The idea here is to get them into the AtGames ecosystem, and then they grow up with it, maybe get another machine, other things like that. So I think they're taking a small sample based on their most child-friendly IP and trying to draw those people in. The hope is, if this does well enough, even though I don't think these are the strongest games or the strongest game to kind of throw out there, hopefully it does well enough that we do see some of their more banger titles like Police Street Patrol, Dinosaur Dynasty 3, and some of these Scott Shelton games, Firefighter Wildlands, make it out there, and then it
Urban
becomes
EMS,
a broader
a
thing.
lot
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
mhm.
Anyways, I that was probably the one I was the most excited about, seeing this, and I never even made the connection to Pincade until we were talking, and I was like, wait a minute. Anyways, we do have some other new product to talk about. This was also announced during AtGames National Owners Day. 2 new 4KP tables coming. Of course, Space Invaders, a lot of people said this was shadow dropped, even though this was previously announced when they were doing their round of announcements after the Zen departure. They talked about Space Invaders. Did they talk about Turtles back then? I thought they mentioned
These
a
were
re-release of Sea of Thieves.
These were both sold through AVS back in Chicago Expo last year. Remember, I seen the flyer when I was there. So these were already talked about. The 4KP actually was played by Tampa Tech in a video on YouTube in Florida at a show. And Space Invaders we hadn't seen, but it was on the back of the pamphlet for AVS that they were selling these third party, and now they're becoming first party sales. So that's really the only difference.
I really
hope they
liked.
fixed the DMD issue though with these. Just saying.
There was a DMD issue. You got to tell me more about that,
Well,
Billy.
so like when you play your deluxe tables, credit and ball are cut in half. So you're
wow.
missing half of. See, you don't support me, man. You don't watch my fucking videos. You're killing me, bro.
I watched some of your videos, Billy. Some. I can't watch everything.
No, but in the last one, so it was, you know, kudos to Troy's, you know, Discord. We have awesome conversations over there. If you're not joined, get your ass over there and do it. There's your
This
plug,
is-
Troy.
Jason, I'm sorry to ask you to do this, but if you can send a link to Troy's Discord,
Little
that would be
Alien
great.
does that every time. He's awesome, man.
Mm-mm.
Probably already done it.
Yeah, chill. Sorry. So we were talking about how the ball and credits always cut off on these deluxe tables. So it was, you know, the conversation was it covered? Is it not covered? So on and so forth. So in the last video we did for like, there was a bunch of us. Troy did one, Chaotic did one. I think Retro Bill did one. I didn't get a chance to check his out yet. But
I heard he has a show now.
Does he?
Apparently.
Dude, you got a show?
Yeah.
Really?
On Wednesdays.
Dude, I got to check that out. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know. Anyway, so I went and I was like,
all the
screw
cool
it.
kids go there. It's fine.
Let's figure it
That's
out.
why you haven't been invited.
I guess not. I don't rank.
Only the best pinball players get to come.
That's why
That's
you're
what she said.
invited. That's why you're invited. You're the best out of all of us. So I went and I pulled the back glass off to just, is it true? Is it not? And sure as shit, I pulled it off and it was cut. And now the thing that's even more interesting is my back glass is from Buy Stuff. Now, it was when Buy Stuff first, like when the machine first came out, I was like the first guy to get a plain back glass for my Superman themed machine. So they were going by the same specs as what was there before. So, the question is, well, if you know it's cut off, why aren't you kind of getting it, kicking it over a little bit? So with these new machines, maybe, they can straighten that stuff out. And, because now it's the question of, well, what do we do for our back boxes now that these are cut off? Like now that we know, can you guys fix it?
It's like
maybe
it's like what, 3 or 4 columns of pixels, something like that. It's not much, but it's just enough to be annoying.
Yep. So it's always cut off. So, if you didn't see the video, go check it out. But, it's worth noting there that they screwed it up.
Same thing happens with the Iconic Arcade, actually, but everybody seems to think it's 10 out of 10. I don't get it.
Well, it's an expression.
It doesn't get 5 stars from me. That's all I'm saying.
Figure of speech.
So, I think Turtles, obviously, it's a great IP. That's a slam dunk. Space Invaders, they've tried before. Like me personally, I will give my feedback. I don't like this IP for pinball. I think that when they made a Space Invaders side art for the ALU, I thought that was a great move. I don't get it with the pinball. I know they're proud of their own IP, but I don't know how much interest people would have in a Space Invaders themed pinball machine, even though there is an AtGames original pinball game for it. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just kind of stating my own opinion and what I think AtGames could have done differently when it comes to their titles. Again, I think they should focus on great IP like Turtles. And then they do have real pinball recreations from the Gottlieb lineup that would look fantastic.
Yep. I don't understand, like Space Invaders. I don't know. I love Space Invaders, but it doesn't make sense for pinball. That was my only concern too. And honestly, the Space Invaders table itself is not a true, vintage style pinball table. It's a wave-based tower defense game, essentially.
It's horrible.
And it breaks all the time. It crashes. So it's not a good look, I don't think. I wish they would have chose something a little better. And I wish those 3 tables, the best IPs of Taito, Operation Wolf, Bubble Bobble, and Space Invaders, should have been actual pinball machines instead of tower defense. Basically the same game 3 times. Different layout. So.
I remember, and I'm not trying to get him in trouble now, but I remember talking to Jason Tierney about it. And I think it was Jason Tierney. I might be wrong, but he loves Operation Wolf. And he was so disappointed in the game when it actually came out. Yeah.
Man, bummer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Bubble Bobble because of the sounds and stuff. It sounds really cool, but I just don't like that wave-based games. They're really tough.
Either.
They're hard games and they crash, and sadly. So
that's not pinball to me. You know what I mean?
It just pisses you off, Troy, because you can't get the high score.
You're right. It's actually it. You're right.
It crashes before I hit the leaderboard.
It sure does.
See, that's a different ball of wax, Duke Doug, but we're not talking about the same thing there. Yeah. So, those were announced. Great deals on them as well, with money off. But, that's what it is. I think Turtles will do well.
Ooh, Turtles Micro is a great idea from Crane.
Yeah. Well, what you do is Space Invaders sucks. You don't do that. You skip 1776 and you make 4 different versions of the Turtles cabinets: blue, purple, red, orange theme. People will buy that all day long, or they'll buy their favorite turtle. You know, it's
They'll
Every
buy
one of
all
those
four
would have
'cause they're
to be
completed.
vetted though by the
they might buy
licensor.
all 4. I mean, that you go all in on that. That's just a slam dunk, in my opinion.
All right, guys. So moving on, I do have to give AtGames a little bit of a hard time here, but the American Moments Pinball Bundle save 40%. So it's great. You save a little bit of money, but this is a pre-order. A pre-order went up for these tables. Am I not correct?
Yep.
Oh, they absolutely did. And I got a notification tonight when I booted up for American Moments pre-order on my 4KP. So
So thanks to a great community member, Billy Woods Mods, because we had talked about, I was 100% sure AtGames had put out a public post saying they were not going to offer pre-orders anymore. And Billy Woods Mod said, you know what, Mike, I think you're right. And he found the post for me. So April 1st, 2024, might have been April Fool's Day. I might, that may be
That's
what
what it
this
was,
is,
yeah.
Billy.
well, no, because this was a hot
Hot
topic.
Yeah, I remember.
on Reddit.
The rare
too.
packs. Yeah.
Yeah, the rare packs. Because ultimately, you know, the rare pack was released and we got Sea of Thieves like immediately. And then I even did a video like, I'm not buying it because what if these other 2 games suck, right? It's like the movie Fanboys, right?
Yeah.
What if it sucks? Exactly. So you spent how much money, and I don't even remember what the rare pack was at that time, but you spent however much money on a rare pack only to get 1 game, and then you waited what, 6 months? Is that what's going to happen here? Like, is this going to be like an old man dribble, you know, when he's trying to take a leak, and you're going to get like 3 games and then another 3 games and another 3 games? Oh, here's 5. Get like, nope. Sorry, not doing it again. AtGames, not happening. Sorry.
Well, and Sea of Thieves at the time had to come out before Christmas because it was the themed table.
Right.
Yeah, that was going to come out at the same
release.
time.
And so they forced that one out, and then they
Which is
held back.
crazy because that's the best game of the pack.
Absolutely.
Should
Absolutely.
never
did we know.
force it out. Never force it out.
That's what he said?
Wow, that's
You guys can't help yourselves, can you?
No.
Nope. Sorry. Wait till Chicago, buddy.
Oh, very sorry.
I'm going to be
really
blushing
quickly-
the entire week.
I'll give you more gray hair.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Troy. You're going to Pinball Expo. Have you ever been before?
Yeah, I went last year as well.
Nice. Pinball Expo is awesome. The only thing I really don't like about it is all the people. I like the pinball. I
true.
don't like
The
the
lines.
people that I have to be
point.
around while I'm waiting.
That's
to
why
play.
I'm going early. I'm going
Yeah.
early.
I'll never forget, me and 19K Fox were in line to play Jaws, and there was a kid with his dad, and the kid played like 70 games in a row, and he just wouldn't leave. And I was like, I don't think he understands how the line works. And it's hard to be mad because it's a kid, but you're waiting there to play.
no,
Right?
it's pretty easy.
no.
Around the 20th game, it was easy to get mad. Yeah.
Get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
Move.
Novasonic, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Hallelujah. Whoa. I know you want to see the video. Not tonight, brother. We got to be more serious tonight. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. I
I have
promise.
a reputation to uphold.
So one thing I got to say about this one, yeah, it's a tough sell anytime you do a pre-order. They have made a significant investment with people, bringing people to the design side for AtGames. It's not just Scott Shelton anymore. You've got additional testers with Nick and Tampa Tech. You've got Bobby
Who's
King
Nick?
there now. What's his role? Plus Scott Shelton. So their cadence is going to be important here. They're going to try to do one a month. If they can keep that up, it's still going to be 14 months. So it's almost a year, even at that.
Yeah.
So it's tough to buy these that far out. And I know we chose these themes by the vote. So it's our own fault if we don't like them. So we'll see.
Still not seeing quilts, damn it.
I know it.
No
Quilts
quilts.
is still going to happen. I tell you, no one
73
will let it
times,
go,
Leon.
so.
73 times.
So the positive about this is I have less of a problem with pre-orders when there's a discount offered. And I like that. I like that the fact that you're getting these for 40% off if you basically finance them. But, let's call a spade here. And Troy, you just talked about it. There's a lot of money going into these tables, a lot of money going into these ideas. Yeah. And I mean, AtGames, I don't know what's going on with them behind the scenes. Like, they've got overhead, they've got to pay off and other things like that. Maybe they need a quick cash infusion. I'm not trying to be negative saying that. It's just, that's the way business is done. So they go back on their statement a little while ago. They offer a pre-order. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's just kind of funny to bring it up. And it was like, no more pre-orders except this one. We're going to do this one. But,
1776 is a pre-order too. So
yeah. I don't know if they said, I thought this no pre-orders was specifically for games, but then again, it could be on devices as well. We'll have to see. But again, if you're going to do a pre-order where there's a large discount, like 40% off, I'm not going to give you too much of a hard time. I got no problem with pre-orders when there's a large sale. Pre-orders for full price, why the fuck would you pay that? Just wait till it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it even says in the post right there, it says, for both digital and physical goods, we will only operate on in-stock inventory. Yeah. So that's everything, right? So look, go back on your word. It's fine. Just, don't screw your customers. I almost said it. Don't screw your customers. Make sure that they come out when you say they're going to come out. Don't turn it into the 6-month debacle that, Battletoads and Killer Instinct turned into. That's all.
One concern I do have is when the universal packs start to drop, and I thought they were going to start to drop this fall or something at this point. How is that going to handle? If people are buying this on the HD, is it still going to transfer to 4K? There's still some questions to be answered along the way. So yeah, if you only owned a micro now and you bought this pack, what's it going to be in 14 months when the final game comes out and you own a 4KP or the EX or whatever you own? Will it transfer? Do you have to buy the entire pack again at full price because you didn't pre-order it? Who knows?
Yeah, that's a great question. AtGames usually does a pretty good job of putting out fact sheets. Yeah. So hopefully they provide some knowledge about this when they get a chance. Gamer Fridge says he wants to hear Fox's opinion on the pre-order for the American Moments tables and them going back on their statement from April 1st, 2024.
AtGames telling a lie, that just is so uncharacteristic of them.
It's un-American.
Don't know whether it is un-American. Absolutely.
Coming from a Canadian.
I think I would rather enjoy a table at 100% of the price than regret spending 60%. It's I'm not going to
it's 40% less regret.
I'm not. It's 40% less regret. That's true. No, when it comes to these tables with the software, no, never pre-order. Just do yourself a favor, save your 60% or 40% or whatever you want to slice it. Just wait till they come out. Wait to see how they play. It might be total garbage. It might be the greatest thing in the world. I've never really kicked myself for maybe not saving 40%. I've always been happy, more often than not, saying, damn, I'm glad I didn't buy that because that looks like garbage. So I think the best thing to do, wait and just pay full price when it comes to software, when it comes to these games and the way that they play. And to your point, Troy, how is this going to translate on my device? Do I have a 4K? Do I have an HD? What do you have? Yeah. Wait till all these things are ironed out, and just pay the regular price and you'll be happy.
So, Troy, I don't know if you knew this. AtGames posted before tonight's show that you can download and use the new CEGUI that the 4KP owners have. Do you know anything about that?
I know that it's coming to the HD and micro as an option, but they didn't have a release date as of yet.
Okay. Thanks, Jason.
So I'm super excited about that. It's going to be completely optional. The 5.70 is the current stable version of the micro and HD firmware. You can completely stay with that if you want, or you're going to be able to transfer to the CE option, which I don't have any specific details on, but I'm hoping that actually means purchase on device and active leaderboards and things like that will be better. I'm not entirely sure of any of that, but that's the hope. So we'll see. They're going to do another Nintendo Direct later with the actual details. We'll see.
The AtGames Direct? You were part of an
Yeah.
AtGames Direct just there, when was it? Yesterday.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much.
Did that feel cool?
It was the interview you're referring to?
Yeah. On DRW Weekly or whatever the show
Yeah,
is.
that was interesting. That was done at probably 4 weeks ago, I think it was. Yeah, and they cut a lot of that. We had a pretty lengthy conversation, and some of that I think will come out in different pieces. So that was specific to the DPWR stuff, and I think there'll be another cut later on of different stuff that we talked about. So
it would be a lot funnier if they did the interview like 7 months ago when you were there and you were like, we see a bright future for Zen Studios and AtGames. I kid. Moving on, we've got some more software as well. Man, they announced so much stuff during National Owners Day. So we've got First Responders EMS coming February 2027. I think everybody's pretty excited about that. All the First Responder games so far have been stellar, great releases. So EMS coming February 2027, probably a lot longer than people want to wait, but that's pretty exciting. And then we get a different take on the Natural History Pinball Pack. We're getting Sunken Galleons. So this is interesting. Obviously, doubloons and stuff like that is part of natural history, but it's kind of outside the Dinosaur Dynasty realm that we kind of look at. And we got a new AI logo for natural history that, pretty close to a Jurassic Park logo up there. Troy, do you have any idea? Obviously, we assume that Scott Shelton is going to be back working on the First Responders packs because he did the first two. Mm-hmm. Do we know anything about Sunken Galleon, where that's coming from, and who's going to be working on it?
I can't say specifically. I know very little about it. It was talked about a little bit back in the day they kind of threw out a bunch of ideas of really cool IPs to maybe do that were non-licensed stuff. And this was one that came out that I was like, hey, I love an underwater theme. I think that's a great idea. And they jumped on it. So I don't know if this is going to be a Scott Shelton design or not. I would assume I think he went back and has actually tweaked some of the natural history stuff with updates and stuff. So maybe that would be in his wheelhouse. First Responders, I think, would have to be his. And they've kept a pretty consistent theming. The child-friendly theming with the artwork and stuff has been pretty consistent across the board with those. So Urban will come out in August, and then EMS in February. So, yeah.
I have an idea for them if they want to go with it. And it's just because it's been prevalent for the past few days with my department, but water rescue.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Firefighter water rescue, or, EMS water rescue, something like that. Or, yeah. And it's, like I said, it just came to mind over these past couple of days where, here in Jersey, we've kind of had it rough all over the place, but might be just another idea for them. So if you ever catch another meeting with them, throw it out there. It might be
I've thrown out Coast Guard. I thought would be a good one, or some military branches or something like that. But Coast Guard kind of makes sense on the East Coast and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see.
And the sunken galleon thing, it's like, to me, it's like the adventures of One-Eyed Willie. Come on, little Goonies tie-in, maybe.
I think Sunken Galleon is going to be a little bit. The way I see it is, if you guys remember the PlayStation 1 game Treasures of the Deep, I think it could be a little bit like that. I don't know if you guys are. That's a deep cut maybe for some of you guys, but I loved that game, and it was kind of you had different submersibles going down and pulling treasures out of these deep oceans and stuff. It was pretty cool. So I think this theme, I was like, man, you got to have a lower playfield on this thing. You go all black hole on this thing. It'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Deep Ocean did that a little bit, but the table was really crowded and stuff. But
You need a lower play field, multiple upper play fields, 15
No.
flippers.
Exactly.
It can be done well. Ninja Turtles did a pretty good job of it.
They did.
So,
It was a little
we'll
confusing to get into, but it was really well done. See, this is what I'm talking about, Troy. Like, you've basically told us that you use your influence to get a Doubloon game done. You're telling me you can't get me Hop on Pop? Come on. You know,
I say it, they'll do it. No, that's not true.
just send them a picture with you giving a thumbs up and get my game made.
I'm telling them absolutely not make it now.
What?
That's horrible.
You had one
Remember the
job,
last
sir.
time I was
One
on
job.
here, you called me I was better than everybody, and it's stuck now. So thank you for that. So
I didn't say that, Troy. You said that about yourself.
no, my words were twisted.
You took me out of context. Liars.
No Hop and Pop for you.
Last but not least, the big last announcement I want to go over is obviously General Loader 2.0 available now. This is probably one of the things I love so much about AtGames and the Legends Ultimate back in the day was obviously it's a pretty good device. Like, the controls are excellent. The screen quality, even though it's a widescreen for retro games, is great, but it's also future-proofed if you want to bring in Steam and all that stuff. But what made AtGames Legends Ultimate so special was the community involvement, the people going out there bringing games to the platform. And now we really have that freedom again with General Loader 2.0 and AtGames' new approach towards community projects and even like VPX standalone and stuff like that. So this is a great announcement. Moving in this direction, I'm going to give them tons of credit for. I think this is fantastic. Hopefully it works really well. Hopefully people in the community can get access to this and make usable, pinball games we can use, so we can get stuff not just like standalone VPX, but there's some great independent pinball games out there that people just developed themselves. I think one of them used to work with AtGames. I don't know if he still does, but the guy who did Leprechaun King, and there was another pizza game that was supposed to come to AtGames Legends Pinball. I don't know if it ever did Pizza Time, but like that, seeing that kind of stuff on the Legends Pinball 4KP, fantastic. More of this. So start with you, Billy Woods Mods. What do you think of General Loader 2.0?
I like it. I think it might set VPXS back a little bit, but I like it. Hopefully we can get coin ops back, that kind of stuff. So, we'll see. I'm excited for it, and hopefully we get some really cool shit out of it too. Is it real, John?
19K Fox. You're generally loaded most of the time. What do you think of General Loader?
I like to stay loaded. I consider myself more of a General Loader 3.0, but you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
What are the parameters? What could we expect? Is this going to be a way to sideload some cool stuff? Is this going to be a way for me to crash my 4K? I have no idea. But
all of the above.
More, I think more is good. More community involvement, being able to sideload this stuff in some sort of structured way could be a lot of fun. I'm just, with my 4KP, with my experience, I have my best time just completely offline and disconnected. So maybe this is another way for me to add games. So fingers crossed, but I have my doubts as far as the implementation is going to go. So we'll see.
And Troy, what about you, brother?
Another huge plug for the RTX Discord. The stuff I'm already seeing coming out of General Loader 2.0 is awesome. Blaze in the Discord has already created a AtGames leaderboard for Flipper Friends in General Loader.
That's great. Yeah.
Pinball Wizard has already created a video poker game in there. I've seen Arkanoid style game, like the 26 version of Arkanoid. This has a ton of potential. I personally don't code other than for Dynamo and Revit type stuff in my job, so I would have trouble trying to code down to C# or something like that, or Python to make this work. But I'm not sure exactly what code language it's in, but the potential is great. And VPX is really the open and connected theme that AtGames is big about, and that's really what it's going to open up for everybody to do everything. So we'll see what happens, but I'm encouraged. But But you're right. There could be a lot of ways to break your system doing this. 19K Fox, you are
Yeah,
not wrong.
yeah. Proceed with caution, right?
There's a
I'm with
lot of
James
potential
here.
there to do a lot of terrible things as well as good. So
Lots of vibe coding, as per James.
So my favorite thing is if you watch James Hates Everything, he has been feasting on all this content about, all this new expenses for systems, companies shutting down and stuff like that, and bitching about how AI is making everything more expensive. Yet in the home arcade community, he's the person that I think uses AI more than anybody else. He
It's a very good point.
single-handedly is responsible for the Steam machine price and the price increases for consoles. Remember that when you watch some of James Hates Everything AI featured content.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think this is a great announcement. I think this is getting back to AtGames having an open and connected device for people to use. I think it's a great thing. I don't think it will hamper their sales for their own pinball stuff while allowing the community to make the machine great above what AtGames can legally do for it. I mean, that's the best way to say about this. It's the same thing that made the ALU special. I'm happy for it. Hopefully nobody bricks their machine and hopefully everything goes well.
Agreed. And, to AtGames' credit, make sure you legally own the license for whatever game that you're side loading on your 4K P.
Yes, I legally own the license to the,
Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man. I'm looking at you.
CoinOps X and the whole bit. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've gone much longer talking about AtGames than I intended because I had two topics up here. I did want to talk about the console stuff, but I would understand if you guys are done with this shit because I have had you on for an hour and 16 minutes. If you got more energy and the chat wants to see it, do you guys want to talk about consoles?
Let's go. There was one more thing that I don't know that you saw, but they posted too about the SSF kit for the HD.
I did see that. Yeah.
They threw a video up for that. So I'm interested in checking that out when we're done here. But
didn't they say they're bringing back Vibs boards for the Micro too? I thought they sold out of those when I seen that they
that'd
were
be great.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought those, and that's might be a way to encourage me to actually buy one of those so I could have one at work. Be like Troy.
Micro was great.
Cool, like RTX.
Yeah, the Micro was great. The Micro is actually a fantastic little device, especially at the price they're selling them for. I would highly recommend anybody to get them. And it's so easy once you have the Vibs board to set up Pinball FX or whatever you want to use on it. Like, yeah, highly recommend the Micro Pinball.
The look on 19K Foxes just tells me he wants to just throw one in a swimming pool. So
No, I want to give it a loving embrace.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Takes his to bed.
Yeah.
So he has said it multiple times.
So before we move on, I do have one quick little interlude. I no longer put ads in the middle of my video, so you'll notice there were no interruptions other than the start of the show. That doesn't mean I don't run my own ads. Hey guys, it's me. It's Michael B. A lot of people ask me why I started making videos on YouTube. Well, of course, the first answer is I've been a lifelong gamer, falling in love with gaming at the tender age of 7, and always being a video game enthusiast and collector growing up. And I started making YouTube videos talking about my love of retro gaming, everything retro gaming from the NES to the Sega Dreamcast and everything in between. From there, obviously, when home arcades became a thing, I became a huge fan of home arcades, mini consoles, and all kinds of stuff like that. And that brings us to today, where I'm still on YouTube sharing my passion for everything gaming. And the second reason is, well, money. I'm here and I run a YouTube channel with the hopes I'll make a little bit of money. And if you want to help me with that, you can by either super chatting or becoming a channel member. Anything would help, and it would further motivate me to make the amazing content I make on YouTube, like this live stream you're watching right now.
Shill's got a shill, man. 5 stars, sir. 5 stars.
That's why you didn't talk about ad space behind you.
No, not tonight. I gotta break it up. I've been doing too much on the ad space recently. That is still available though, if there's companies out there listening. And I have multiple rooms now.
There you go.
It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
And nice job, Fox. Label out, sir. Wish our
Here we are.
would learn how to do that.
My favorite thing is when I put that ad on, I saw on the backstage 19K Fox just ran. He booted it, and I was like, he's got to take a shit. But it turns out it wasn't.
I just
that
have
at
to drink.
all. He just has to drink. All right, guys. So moving on, let's talk about some console stuff. And this is where the show's going to get a lot more negative. Oh, my dear God.
Why do you assume that?
Oh, I think we all know.
Oh, yeah. Right in my wheelhouse, this is. I'll tell you that.
So it's been a rough couple of weeks in the console gaming space, and it really started kind of, it's been horrible for a while, let's be honest, but we got the price on the Steam machine about a week and a half ago, and I know, Troy, you wrote me on Twitter, and you said, why would anybody need this if they already have a PC? And I wanted to write you back and say, I don't know, why does anybody need multiple AtGames Legends pinballs? But I thought that was a little too on the nose.
I have the same question. That's why I'm trying to get rid of some. It made sense at one point. It doesn't anymore. So
kindling, kindling, it goes great in your fire pit.
It looks like a GameCube. That's one reason to get it.
Yeah.
Yes, and it has the wonderful name of the Gabe Cube because of Gabe from Steam. So there's lots of positives there, but I think everybody was kind of caught off guard by the price. I think a lot of people expected this to be priced more like a console with similar pricing to like a PlayStation or an Xbox, and it's anything but. It's probably about, seeing the Canadian price here now, so don't flip out, but $1,049 for the base unit with nothing included. That's a steep price to pay, especially when you can get a handheld gaming PC like the Xbox ROG Ally X for less than that, which has, pretty similar performance and an included screen and can log into your TV. So price was obviously a big sticking point, and unfortunately the big
Windows.
Pardon?
And Windows.
Yeah, if you want Windows.
If you want Windows, yeah.
Who wants Windows?
Not me.
Not me.
Let's go Linux.
So I was personally really disappointed in the price in this, and I understand it comes from the memory shortages now. It's mostly James' fault, but when you see prices like this, and this is for something that obviously is a little bit underpowered compared to what modern consoles are. I mean, the Xbox is more powerful. The PlayStation 5 is more powerful. What does this tell you about the future of gaming? Because we're at the end, let's be honest, of the current generation. We're getting ready for the PlayStation 6. We're getting ready for the Xbox, Project Helix or whatever it's going to be called. Is this indicative of what future prices are going to be? Start with you, Fox.
Yes.
Yes.
There is no hope, and we're all going to die. Yes, that's the benefit of what's going on with Xbox and PlayStation is who cares? Just buy one device, one ring to rule them all, and you don't have to worry about anything else. No, I think that this is like gas prices. This is like movie ticket prices. Once they get to a certain threshold, once they break through a glass ceiling, they never come back down. So you can expect to pay this forever.
Troy, I kind of know your thoughts on the Steam machine, but, refresh everybody. Tell everybody your thoughts.
Yeah, so for me, it's really, and this may be a little different than the way I said on X, but I do think it's only been a matter of time the last few generations with Xbox and PlayStation. They've both been moving to a PC model anyway. They're getting closer and closer to a PC all along. The generational leap from 2 to 3 and 4 to 5 and 5 to 6 is just not enough for people to jump it. Ray tracing is not that thing, okay? We went from polygons to incredibly detailed 3D meshes, and that was all we ever needed. We're already too far. this is going to be a replacement for some people to just not have to use their actual PC for gaming. Nobody's going to buy a PS6 because it's not that much better than a PS5. I got rid of my PS5 after 2 months of playing, or 6 months of playing my PS4 games on it, because it was the same thing with an upgraded version, and it wasn't worth keeping.
Did you buy the PS5 at launch?
No, I bought it about 3 months after the fact. So
yeah,
I was lucky enough to get it a little bit later and for a little bit cheaper. And I just, like I said, I played nothing but PS4 games on it, and I was just like, why did I buy this thing? There's not a single PS5 exclusive that I actually want, and so I got rid of it.
PS5.
And the same thing I did on the portable side, I bought a Steam Deck, and I'm like, this thing's awesome. And so I was like, why do I have the PS5? So that's what prompted me to get rid of the PS5. And then I got a Legion Go, and I'm like, this is awesome. Why do I need the Steam Deck? So I got rid of the Steam Deck, and I'm like, I'm buying Steam games. This is like forever purchases. Why am I even playing consoles? So the only console I have now is a PlayStation, or I'm sorry,
Nintendo
Switch 2. It's a totally different thing. You can dock it. It's an incredible system. It has incredible IPs that are exclusive to Nintendo, and everything else is on a Legion Go 2. And there's just really no reason for anything else. So
I had one of those, I don't know if Meatball Saucy will watch tonight or not, but I had one of those revolution moments where I bought my Xbox ROG Ally X specifically to play Xbox games. That was the idea behind it. But I was going to my cabin this weekend, and I've been in this real PC gaming buzz lately because of the Steam machine. So I downloaded a couple of my Steam games onto my ROG Xbox Ally X, and I'm amazed at how good they work. It performs better than a Steam Deck. You get better performance, better visuals. It's easier to hook up to a TV. You get better performance that way. And I'm like, why the hell do I still have my Steam OLED? What am I doing with this? I don't need it. So yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from on that one.
That's why I went to Legion Go, because I had a ROG Ally X originally, and I loved it. It was powerful. That was before they had the Xbox version. But the problem was, to have a secondary controller, you had to do a weird switch with Armory Crate and all that. Yeah. Whereas Legion Go, you could just take the controllers off, and it was just like a switch, and it just made it that much easier. So
oh my god, I had a massive screw up when I hooked up my Xbox controller to my ROG Ally X. For some reason, it completely disabled the controller on the Xbox ROG Ally X. And it was a nightmare. It was a friggin' nightmare. I had to work hard to get it back to work. Yeah, Armory Crate's a pain in the ass. I will say,
I said screw it, and I went to Legion Go and never went back.
I will say, going back to your statement about the PS5 and the Xbox, they had one of the worst launches ever because they came out right at the beginning or middle of the pandemic. And then we had a 2-year window where there was no content for it at all. Like they came out, and everything that came out for it was just like a graphical upgrade of PS4 or Xbox One X game. And we really never got any, dedicated content until like year 2 or year 3 for those systems. So I 100% hear what you're saying. Like it was boring as hell being a PS5 and Xbox Series X owner after you played your initial launch games. Like I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I was so thirsty for new games, and nothing came out for a while.
Gran Turismo, No Man's Sky, it was the same stuff I was playing on PS4.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I kind of skipped the PS4, and I did get the PS5 when they went down to the Slim, and that's a lot of what my gaming was. And that was a mistake that PlayStation and Xbox made, this race to be the most powerful system. Meanwhile, Nintendo's just back here chilling, coming up with cool form factors and a huge library of exclusives. And they're like,
physical games.
You guys go ahead. We'll just hang back here and make all the money. So yeah, you're exactly right. You have PC gaming that's going to just sort of everything's going to glob together, and you're going to have Nintendo over here, just doing its thing.
And who's remaking all the physical collector's games? Switch. So everything's on Switch now in physical form on a little tiny card.
That's the crazy thing. Like I've been watching this whole console stuff. We're going to talk about physical media dying in a bit, and it's going to be more than just what's announced right now, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's also for media people as well.
Can you go back to the Steam machine for just a moment? So, from the computer geek side of me, like this machine is like entry gaming system, right?
Yep, 100%.
Not to mention all of these machines are being shipped single stick. So single stick, 16 gigabyte RAM, which, in some ways is a performance hit. I'd rather see 2 sticks of 8 or, essentially something like that, just so there's a little bit more performance. The upside with these though, too, is, you can, if you want 4 terabytes of hard drive space, you can do it. You want to add more RAM, you can do it. So, and I know I told you, Mike, Gamers Nexus did an amazing teardown of this machine. And, so it's highly upgradable, which is great. But, bottom line is you're only looking at, 2, basically an HDMI out. And I think it's
1 display port, 1 HDMI out.
Thank you. So, the bottom line is you could do dual monitors with it and everything else, but it's your entry level machine. And I don't really see, based on this price, that it really being worth it. You could purchase your own machine, SteamOS, sure, but I think you get the same analytics. Now, Linux drivers kind of suck when it comes to, video cards and that sort of thing. And then,
certain video cards, NVIDIA.
Right. But to RTX's point also, you've hit that plateau. So even when it comes to video cards now, right? 5990 to, your 5090 to your 4090, there wasn't a huge jump, so a lot of this stuff, to RTX's point, we're hitting the plateaus. And, to go to your next one here with the Xbox and the pricing increases, same with PlayStation. What did the PS5 Pro model just hit? Like, are you out of your mind?
I think it was $900. Was it
9 or 1,000?
Yeah.
I think it's 1,000. Like, how long before you're pricing people out of the market? And now the Steam machine becomes the value, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a segue back to this.
Yeah,
Well,
I think they already have, Billy. I think that look at the versatility of something like a Steam Deck. I mean, if you're spending so much money to be locked in to like a PlayStation ecosystem that doesn't really benefit you anything. Where's the massive library of exclusive titles? They're just not there.
Nintendo's really the only one that's locking you in.
And their price point is so much lower.
Exactly.
And their technology is so much
2
lower.
or 3 Switch 2s.
Yeah. So
for the price of an Xbox.
Yeah,
exactly.
And really quickly too, I'm disappointed it's not going to happen with the Series X, but those of us who have play Xbox games on our PC and also have an Xbox ROG Ally X with the software already uploaded, Xbox have developed a pretty good front end that brings in games from other platforms. Like when I log into my ROG Ally X, I never have to touch Steam. All my Steam games are right there under that Xbox platform, and I can just go into them. So it's a great front end too. It's a shame we won't get it on Series X, but like when it gets to Helix is going to play the Steam games anyways. Helix will essentially be a modified Steam Deck for people who don't want to get a Steam Deck. It is going to be a PC. So it's really interesting to see these console price increases. And I don't think anybody would be surprised if I told you I bought a Steam machine.
For God's sakes, Mike, what are you doing?
I have problems. I'm open about
haven't
it.
eaten in months. What are you doing?
You're making too much YouTube money. Come on.
That's right. No more super chats for you.
I won the lottery. I got the lower one with the 512 gigabyte with controller. I wanted a Steam controller. Honestly, this is the only way to get a Steam controller now, and it's completely upgradable. And
you have to have an external at that point, but yeah.
I am lazy as fuck, and I am going to sit on my couch and play Steam games on my TV. The worst thing that happened was I actually hooked a PC up to my TV. I started getting into Steam games, and I was like, yeah, I actually really do want this. I know it's unnecessary, but I still
sit
want
on your couch and play Steam games? What? You already have that.
Yeah, but Here's
a bigger
here's the
screen, dude.
Here's the magic of it all. And this is one thing I think Steam is smart in the Nintendo way. Their focus is on not delivering the most, awesome hardware. You go back to the Steam machine. That Steam machine performed worse than the Nintendo Switch 1. Your performance on games was 720 when it was, in handheld. When it's docked, it's still 720. Your games look like shit, but people were so happy to connect that thing to a TV. And I think the Steam machine is the same thing. They knew it was going to be an entry level. I just wish they could have hit the entry level price point.
Mike, I'd love to give you more.
Pardon?
Mike, I'd love to give you. I'd love to give you more shit. I really would, but I just hand built a Gran Turismo 7 arcade cabinet. So
how much did it cost you?
Well, let's not talk about that right now. We'll talk about that
Price
later.
is irrelevant. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I get it. But okay, so you buy this. What are you going to do with PS5 and Xbox? I mean, are you even interested anymore?
Yeah, man. I've always been that console guy. I can't help myself. Going back to after I got through my first generation of gaming, I missed Atari. I got in right at the end, but like I was a Nintendo kid. That's what first brought me in the NES. But then when the NES came out, then I got a Game Boy too. And then we got to the 16-bit generation. I got a Super Nintendo. Then I had to get a Sega Genesis, and then we hit that next generation. I got an N64, but I also got a PlayStation. And if they weren't ridiculously expensive, I probably would have got a 3DO originally as well. I ended up getting one later. I forget what the other console was at that time. There was the 3DO and there was something else too. Oh, no. Don't say I was spoiled. I worked. I paid for them myself. But like I always bought everything. I just loved everything. You know what I mean? I can't help myself.
You were spoiled. I had Game Boy.
Oh yeah, I might have been spoiled back in that time, but I'm very open about this. Like when I was like 14, 15, like my dad lost his job and he was just like, you know what? I'm just never going to work again. So I was not spoiled.
Yeah,
as
I
a
don't
teenager.
know if you're much older than I am, but like I'm 48. So I feel like I hit that generation perfectly for Game Boy. And I did the Super Nintendo thing. We had access to Genesis, but I kind of went one side or another. It was Nintendo, switched to PlayStation, didn't do N64, skipped the Wii because that was crap. Yeah, I said it. Wii was crap.
You missed out on Wii bowling.
You missed out on Wii
I
bowling.
played a
That
Wii.
was
My mom had a Wii. I played it.
You know what? That's probably what's wrong with you, RTX. That's why you got such a high opinion of yourself. No Wii bowling.
That's why you're such an elitist, sir.
That's right.
Such an elitist.
Well, but we're all talking about generations of gaming where there were clear lines of distinction between SNES versus NES. Even PC gaming at the late 90s, early 90s, whatever. There were clear lines of distinction. There were benefits and there were drawbacks from all of them. Now we've come to this point where everything is just blending together, minus Nintendo. Yeah. And that's where I think that if I were to go and get this, why even bother with? To your point, I think Troy, you said it. PS6. Why? What the hell is going to be the point?
Well,
I think the future is retro.
The remake of a Wolverine instead of Spider-Man this time. So what?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to get there, Fox. We're actually headed in that direction. But I do think you made a really good point there of, if I get this, why would I get the PlayStation 5? Why would I PlayStation 6? Why would I get the Xbox? We're getting to a point where it's no longer affordable to have multiple platforms. Like we're not talking about, a $400 to $500, entry barrier to entry anymore. We're talking about consoles that are going to be costing, $1,000 at the lowest level, probably $1,600 to $2,000 by the time they're done. And at that point, people are going to have to make hard decisions they probably didn't have to make anymore. Didn't have to make before, where they say, if I'm going to continue to game, I'm going to do it on one platform. And what's lucrative about Steam, and they're one of the only companies to really do this right, is when they have sales, they have really good sales. You can get great games for low prices. Xbox and PlayStation have never done as good with digital sales. Nintendo, kind of the same thing. They're not great with their digital sales. So this is one area where if we are going to an all digital future, Steam definitely has a bigger advantage than the other companies because they already know how to properly sell their, produce games. Not all of them, because if you go on Steam, even on sale, for some reason, Sekiro, Legend of Shadows Die Twice, which is like a 9-year-old game, is still full price on Steam. And when it goes on sale, it only goes on sale for $40. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing there, but everything else is usually pretty well priced.
Steam is like the forever purchase. That's what sold me on it. Is that once I realized that I could buy those indies and keep playing them again and again and again, and not have to rebuy them on Switch and PlayStation and Xbox and everything across every console. I was like, and then you could buy Witcher 3 for $3. Like, what is going on? I bought that game for like $60 on Switch 1 and it ran like crap. It was too aggressive for a Switch 1 with dynamic resolution and all that. But on Switch 2, it plays great. So, but the fact that I could do it for $3 and then control every aspect of how that runs on a Legion Go 2, I mean, way better.
I picked up the Mafia trilogy during this last Steam sale, the remastered trilogy, for $11 Canadian.
Unreal.
So, like, I'm playing through Mafia 1 now. I'm like, this game is incredible. Like,
It's like 50 cents US. That's crazy.
I know. It's like it's actually 6 pence.
Okay, there we go. 6
Yeah.
4 loonies.
Yeah.
Loons, or whatever the heck you call them up there.
Loonies. We have loonies and toonies, which are terrible names for currencies. I don't know who came up
That
with
sounds like fake currency. That's worse than truth bucks.
We're all
What's going on, B. Kirby?
And in this cartoon, we're invading your TV.
So probably, and I'll make it bigger so P-Dubs doesn't get mad. Probably the biggest, kick in the ass for a lot of people. Probably one of the biggest game series of all time.
Insane.
Is Grand Theft Auto 6. Like,
So
I love the Grand Theft Auto games. I love the open world soundboxes. I love, I just played through the PS2 trilogy again on Steam, which I picked up for like $19. But here we are going into, the 6th game, which has been delayed. It's finally coming out. And they announce this insane $80 price tag US. And you don't even get the full game unless you pay $100. And then that pre-order sucked enough, but then you find out it's only going to be digital. And this really upset a lot of people. So this was the first real shot to physical collectors. And I made a joke. I said, you know what? This will really test the will of those people that are say, I'll only buy physical games, because what do? It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Do you just skip it because they're going to do something you don't want? Billy, I know your thoughts on this, so I'll just,
look, vintage Vice City pack. Like, now you're talking to me. Like, am I getting Ray Liotta back?
Ray Liotta's dead, Billy Woods.
But no, what I'm saying is, are we getting that back? Like, that might entice me to buy it. I don't know anything about it, but Vice City was in my opinion, was the best one out of all of them, because it was the right balance. Now, $100, no physical media. Again, my feelings on that, but there is a bit of FOMO now. I've said it before. I don't have the time, the disposable time to dump all this time into an open world game like this. But seeing Vice City kind of makes me think about it a little bit. Now, I don't have we have a PS5 in the house, but it's not like I'm gonna go sit up in the kids' room and play it all day. If I can get this on Steam, maybe.
Yeah,
just saying. And I'll show you.
Troy, what are your thoughts on Grand Theft Auto 6? Does it bother you that it's digital only?
I'm pretty much digital only now anyway, and I don't mean to be that way, but Switch kind of pushed me that way because it was so easy to just take the games that I really wanted with me and not even have to carry a case.
Yeah.
And then Steam Deck kind of reinforced that with Steam stuff. And then, so really the only thing I do physical now is certain games that I want to be able to physically share with for Switch 2 or Switch 1 and the Evercade. which is even those I know I can emulate every single one of those stupid games, but I still for some reason want to buy a physical box for those and support that company in some small way. So those are really the only two things that I do physical anymore at all for gaming.
I'm glad you added the gaming part.
Yes, I had to preface that because you guys are going to take everything the wrong way.
We're children.
So,
You've already clipped it. It's done.
yeah, absolutely.
You're on X right now.
And I knew with the PS5, it really started with the PS5. Like every game you bought, even though you had the disc,
It was
you
never
needed it.
Yeah.
It was digital anyway.
Yeah.
Half the game
100%.
wasn't on the disc when you bought it, the day you bought it, and the other half was still digital anyway. So you still needed a digital anyway, essentially. So the disc is basically useless, and they've been trying to push us to digital for years. We're all just going to have to cave. So
Yeah, it's funny when the Switch game key cards debate came up and everybody was like, this is bullshit. And I was like, what do you think your PlayStation games are? I'm like, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh in 10 years when all the servers go down for those games on PlayStation 5. And people are like, I've got this $40,000 collection of PlayStation 5 games. And I'm like, yeah, put one into the console and see what happens.
you got
And
key
that's-
cards, buddy.
And that's the thing. Like, even though you bought and paid for it, unless they, until they change the light. Think Grand Theft Auto is a great example. Go play some of those older games, and half of your music library is friggin' gone.
Yeah,
like they wind up yanking it because licenses expire and everything else. It's going to be the same thing with your games. I spent, $100 to buy Grand Theft Auto, and then the microtransactions, they're $500. So you're out $600 when they're like, I'm turning the servers off. Have a nice day. Like, no refunds, no little kickback, nothing. You're just out all of that money. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense.
Fox, your thoughts, my man?
We're entering a new era of gaming. First off, to address Grand Theft Auto 6, you're just leaving so much money on the table, you stupid buffoons, you idiots. If you would have a physical copy, collector's edition, bundle, pack, whatever the hell you want to call it, you could charge $120, $150, and people
They could charge more than that. They could
They
charge
would
$300.
whatever. You could release this physically in multiple different variants, and people would pay the money. Why? Because they've waited a decade for this damn game. So for this release specifically, I think it's too early to go all digital. That's just stupid. You're leaving money on the table. But moving forward, it is what it is, unfortunately. We have to decide for ourselves as gamers, how long do we want to participate in this? And you got to have some self-control. You can't buy the massive deluxe edition. You can't buy all the DLC because it's going to be yanked from you. You're going to lose it that stuff's going to be gone, and then you may even potentially lose the game. I think that the future's retro. When I say that, I mean that if you want unique experiences besides just PC level gaming, which is going to be an experience you'll have on Xbox and PlayStation, whatever forms those end up taking. And obviously Steam Deck and everything. If you want a unique experience, it's going to be really Nintendo doing its thing, and then retro handhelds, retro gaming, and then companies that make games in that same vein. I mean, like the Bitmap Bureau guys that they'll make you a game on your MVS eventually after about 5 years.
And then if you get drunk and you pay $500,
and then you get drunk,
you might get it one
and
night.
it's $500 you eventually. So I think there's this line, and we have to decide for ourselves. If we cross it, you have to understand what you're signing up for, and it's just not gaming as we know it. And eventually we'll all die off, and this is all that the kids will know, and it will be a damn shame because there was something special about that. And you could say the same thing about movies and music, right? But it is funny talking about music, but even with music, Mike, you can go to Walmart right now and you can get a vinyl record.
Oh yeah,
so just because it's gone right now doesn't mean this isn't going to come back. Maybe PS7, they'll realize, holy crap, what have we done?
We're already seeing it. Look at the amazing response that the Neo Geo had, right? I mean,
absolutely.
People,
there's the AES Plus.
Interest. Yeah. But one thing really quickly, I wanted to say, Fox, you don't have to worry about the kids ever playing this. the kids are all mobile first. They only want to do mobile gaming. They're all going to be playing Dr. Seuss pinball on their iPhones and iPads. We know that.
This is a good point. You're right. This is a mute point. I don't even know what I'm worried about.
Troy, what did you have up there?
Pop.
So this is a perfect example. So this is the Tomb Raider remastered, 1 through 3 on one and 4 through 6 on the next. I bought these digitally because they came out digitally first. I bought them, and then they came out physically, and I thought, I'm going to buy them because it has a cool book in it, and I've never opened the cart.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Grand Theft Auto 6, release it digitally now. Say you're never going to have a physical, and in 6 months come out with the exclusive physical, and everybody will double dip for no reason.
People are going to double dip anyways. They're going to buy it on PlayStation. They're going to buy it on Steam.
They're going to do it anyway.
Then, of course, there's a rumor of some potential collusion here that maybe PlayStation and Xbox kind of knew about this announcement coming out, because about a week after PlayStation, with all the other terrible stuff going in gaming, PlayStation said, hold my beer. We're going to upset everybody more than anybody else. So 5 days ago, they announced physical disc production ending in January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. And since they've announced this, they have gone into hiding. They are no longer on Twitter. And everybody on Twitter is just waiting for them to come back. And they're like, oh, they're going to get it when they come back. But they haven't tweeted anything since. So Fox, the other funny thing about this really quickly is, can you believe we live in a day and an age where the cartridge for modern gaming, because you got to think about it, Nintendo Switch still has a cartridge. The cartridge outlasted the disc. How fucking weird is that?
It honestly blows my mind. The whole point of the disc format, starting with the CD-ROM, was because these damn carts were too expensive. And yet here we are. Carts, although some of them are just key cards, but for the most part, the cartridge definitely is outlasting. I have heard another rumor, which is even more disturbing. PlayStation has realized that their disc manufacturing facilities, of which they have some, it's more profitable for them to make components that support AI data centers. And that is a portion of this, which is just, I mean, come on, this is T2 Judgment Day all over again. It's happening. But it's sad. It's really, they always do this. There's a press release where they talk about consumers. We're trying to meet their demand. No, you just understand that your factory floor space is going to generate more revenue if you devote it to the manufacture of parts for AI versus discs for us gamers. And that's just sad. But at the same time, I understand the economics of it.
Yeah.
Raging Tiger is 100% right. It was mainly because of the ability to store data on the disc compared to cartridge. That's how it was a little bit cheaper too, right? But mainly, pardon?
They are also cheaper. It's cheaper to do a CD than a cartridge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, that was the big, terrible announcement. There was all kinds of other stuff that was going on at the time. PlayStation and then Rockstar changed the PlayStation logo to fit GTA 6. And then after this news came out, there was so much blowback. Rockstar said, hey, PlayStation, maybe change your logo so it doesn't represent our game anymore because we don't want any of your negative press. So they made them change it back.
It's like, we're good.
It's been a horrible week. The one thing I will talk about, where it makes sense for them no longer to have disk drives, is if you're familiar with Steam Deck and having multiple devices where your save files, cloud save files, go over and stuff like that, and you want to play on multiple devices. Mm-hmm. PlayStation have also talked about that maybe their future devices will be more like the Switch, or they'll have some kind of component that it's kind of handheld. And this is where digital is successful. And this is one area where I think digital can be done really well. I have an Xbox. I have an Xbox ROG Ally X. The games that I purchase on Xbox, I can use both on my Xbox console, I can use it on my PC, and I can also use it on my ROG Ally X. And I'm not talking about some kind of streaming over the cloud or Wi-Fi streaming. I'm talking about it. I can install it on each device and play it interchangeably. It's the same way for the Switch, where whether you're docked or in handheld mode, you're playing the same game and you can still play off the same save file. If PlayStation adopts, some kind of handheld device that's either going to pair with the PS6 or be the PS6, digital makes a lot more sense for that. What'd you say, Troy?
They're so close as it is. The Vita was basically a Switch without the dock.
Yeah.
And then the Portal is a Wii U. It just sucked because you couldn't install anything on it.
No.
If the Portal, it's PlayStation Portal, right? The handheld one?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That thing is awesome. But if you could install games on it, it would have been great.
Yeah, that's
you had to do streaming crap, which doesn't work.
It doesn't work great.
The United States does not have a good enough bandwidth to be able to cover that, so it just doesn't work. So guess what? The next PlayStation that they do with that's a handheld that actually works will basically be a Switch 2 with a little better hardware.
Yeah.
So we're all going back to Switch anyway. So, and it's going to be 3 times the price because it has a PlayStation logo on it.
There is the, Portal is great now that you can cloud stream. I like the cloud streaming on it. I like playing the older games on it. I like what they did with the PS Now library and stuff like that. Where I have problems with the PlayStation Portal is the way that it was originally set up. Like, if your internet is shitty, like mine can be sometimes, like you can get a really good gameplay experience depending on what kind of games you play. Like if I'm going to use my Portal, I'll play like turn-based RPG where it doesn't require like very precise movements at precise times. You try to play something like, Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotai, where you've got to draw at a certain time and your Wi-Fi
Call of Duty,
kicks up,
Battlefield, forget it.
your game is ruined, right? So, I mean, like it works and it doesn't work. So,
yeah.
Anyways, if you thought that was the worst news, we're all waiting for more to come now.
Yes.
We're moving towards an all-digital future. I don't think it's anywhere to avoid. There's rumors now Xbox are also going to have the Helix be all digital. And what does that future hold? You don't own anything. And it doesn't even get better for PlayStation. At the exact same time they announced this, that they were no longer going to be making physical discs, they just canceled a bunch of movies on their platform. They closed the libraries for the storefronts for the PS3 and the PlayStation Vita. They showed you how they could take things away at the same time when they were like, don't worry, digital's cool, while they were taking shit away. Then a couple days later, an announcement comes out from PlayStation. If you don't turn on your console for 3 years, you'll lose your entire digital library. Like, it is just wild that we're going through this now. And Blu-ray discs. Billy, you made a really good point. PlayStation, Sony are the people that are the largest manufacturer. I think the only manufacturer.
They invented the Blu-ray format.
Yes. Between who was it, Toshiba and the HD
DVD. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why they won the war.
I was the dude that backed it.
Crazy.
Yeah. They won the war because they grabbed Warner Brothers away from HD DVD. That's why it failed. But what they just did with their library and just taking all the Studio Canal shit and wiping it out is, and people are, I don't know, want to get anybody in trouble, but this is another reason why people turn to piracy.
Yes.
I own this, right? So George Lucas can't walk into my house and take this off my shelf. He can't change it for the 15th fucking time.
He'd like to. He'd love to come in and put more. What is his name? I forget who plays Anakin in the prequel movies. What's his name?
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. He'd like to put Hayden Christensen. Bring your
redo the ghost in the first one.
Yeah. Sebastian Shaw. All right, your quilts. Sebastian Shaw. He was the
there
dude
you go.
That was Anakin. But to my point, you can't take it off my shelf. I can take it. I can back it up. I could go to jail for 3 to 5 years for breaking the digital lock, but I can copy it, make sure that, if my disc degrades, I have a backup to watch that movie for the rest of my life.
Yes.
But yes, Sony was 100% behind the HD DVD
And
failure.
how many people bought PlayStations just for the ability to play Blu-rays?
Oh, I did.
And the
A lot of
PS2
people
was
did.
at the time the cheapest
DVD
DVD
player. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my
That's
point.
why it sold like gangbusters, or
Same-
one of the reasons.
Same thing for the Xbox. You could buy the
HD DVD,
HD
yes.
DVD add-on, and I still
Yep.
have it.
Yep.
I can go back and watch some of those movies.
But you
if I
won't.
wanted.
But you won't open your stupid Xbox or your X Arcade haptics kit. Come on, man.
No, not enough. Not enough time, man. Sorry, not high enough on the food chain for me to give a shit. Sorry.
The question now, if Sony is winding down production for their games, are they winding down because I'm assuming the same factories are also producing the Blu-rays that all the movies are on? So they winding that down too?
Yeah,
They-
all their
yeah,
disc production. They're going to go support
sort
AI.
sort of, but Walmart is still a big factor when it comes to physical media. Buy stuff. Oh my God,
That's fine.
Best Buy.
Yeah.
Best Buy got rid of all of them.
They did
That
here
was
too.
a
Yeah.
death blow.
Yep.
You know, but you still have Walmart. When Walmart's like, we don't want your shit anymore, that's when
It's
it'll
gone.
go into the toilet. That's when
Yeah.
it's gone. You know, sucks. But you know, you lose ownership when it's digital. They just proved it.
You know what we need to do? We need to form our own company. Four of us together. Let's do what they're doing for the AES, Neo Geo AES recreation they're doing. Let's do the same thing. Let's bring back the Betamax. Let's form our own company.
Oh my
We'll
God.
make a 2026 Betamax. We'll take over the world. What do you say?
Yes. Yes.
I'm
I'm with
down.
you.
All kidding
2 to
aside,
3%.
for you history buffs, go back and look at the whole war between Beta and VHS. It's
yeah.
strikingly similar to what happened with Blu-ray and HD
Exactly
DVD.
the same thing.
That's-
Beta,
yeah.
Beta was actually the better
Superior.
product overall.
Was the better product, and that's why Sony went so hard for the Blu-ray. They got their asses kicked with the Betamax, and they were like, "Fuck you, not again. We're gonna win this war." And when they were able to pull Warner Brothers away from Toshiba, it was done. That was the death rattle right there.
I remember
what was-
as a early. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What was really cool about the HD DVD was they could be double-sided. So you could get a DVD copy on the one side and an HD DVD copy on the other. So, you know, they were ahead on that and they still got kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
Because they offered Warner Brothers more money per movie.
Yeah, it was wild how I remember I was an early Blu-ray adopter because I had a PlayStation 3, but I didn't get the HD DVD add-on for the Xbox 360 at the time. It was the 360, right? So
Yep.
and I remember certain movies weren't available on Blu-ray. Like I could not buy the first Transformers movie on Blu-ray originally. It was only available on the HD DVD format.
Yep. Terminator 2 came out in Germany on the HD DVD format, and it was an amazing set. Like I remember importing it, paid a lot of money, but I remember importing it, and the amount of like behind the scenes stuff and being able to watch like the extended version all on the same disc. They were like the first ones to do the seamless branching and whatnot too, which was like unheard of. And I think it was Novasonic even mentioned that it used the red laser like a DVD, so it was cheaper to manufacture discs and whatnot too. So there are a lot of advantages to the HD DVD, but Sony, like you said, Betamax was the best. They didn't want to go through it again, and they were going to throw whatever money they had to at the movie studios to make sure that they won. Sad. Sucks.
Well, anyways, guys, we have gone over 2 hours. This is way too much talking. I want to say thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Console gaming, I agree. 19K Fox has been saying it the whole time. Console gaming is going to be terrible. I see a lot of people switching over to the place where they can get their games the cheapest. I don't think the focus, like Troy said, is going to be on the most superior power so much as the most accessible. And Nintendo will continue to lead the charge on that. They don't give a shit how powerful the machine is. You're going to come play if we have the right games and experiences. And I think that'll be the future going forward. And there's such a wide variety of retro games for people to go out there, explore, enjoy. That's probably the future we're going to get into if you still want to play in the digital media landscape. So before we go, I do want to say a huge thank you to my guests, Billy Woods Mods. Thank you very much. Everybody go check out Billy Woods Mods' channel. Apparently, I need to check out more of it because he said I missed some stuff, so I'll be doing that. Also, we've got 19K Fox here. He does a show every Sunday, unless it's his anniversary, then he'll do it on Saturday. So go back and check out his last episode and check out This Week with 19K Fox. Also, check out his harebrained arcade restorations where he takes random PlayStation 5 games and turns them into arcades for some reason. So, yeah, they're fun.
That's fair. Yeah.
And last but not least, Troy, thank you so much for coming back. I didn't think you would come back after all the shit I gave you after the last time, but you're fucking awesome, man. Thank you for being here. Everybody, Troy, Wednesday nights you do Pinball Post, right? It's a Wednesday.
Right. Every Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
Every Wednesday. Plus, he's got an awesome Discord. If you want to talk about AtGames Pinball or pinball in general, go check out Troy's Discord.
Real digital, VPN, anything. So
and he's just a really fun guy. I don't know about his love for
better
the
than you
multimorphic system. You son of a bitch. Anyways, check out all these guys. They're all awesome, and I appreciate them going through the long haul with me tonight, which I didn't intentionally intend to do. I should have just done AtGames. I was like Icarus, flew too close to the sun. Now I'm tired, and I'm not going to get any gaming. Anyways, guys,
it was good to get to the console stuff, man.
Yeah.
I love talking about games, and
I do too.
But I don't want to split my channel in half to do gaming, and so it's really hard to stay only pinball when I do all this other stuff too.
Second channel, man. Second channel.
I know. I don't want to do that, but I think I have to.
Yeah, you got to do like our buddy Moat does. He's got a second channel for toys called Figure Moat. I live in the world where every now and then I might put a toy video on my channel. It might only get 43 views. I don't give a shit. I like toys. I'm going to talk about it. Apparently, people like to have the poll closed before we're done. So I just closed it and waited for it to come up, and we're going to discuss
Probably
that.
should have covered that at the end of AtGames stuff, but whatever.
Probably should have covered that at the beginning of the video and told people there was a poll in the first place.
It's true.
Most likely, yeah.
Whatever.
I kid. Anyways, we got a pretty active response to the poll tonight. Happy to see. Let me bring up the image.
I'm
file.
super curious what people said about this because it's so polarizing.
I know.
Stuff.
I'm cheating. I have the chat up in the other window so I can, respond
Did
to
you
folks.
vote on it 73 times?
Novasonic knows me. I always forget the poll. But what do you think of the direction of AtGames after NOD announcements? 141 votes. Coming in last place, AtGames has a bright future. Coming in third place, no opinion, 16%. Coming in second place, which really I thought this would be the winner because I thought there was some good. I thought there was some bad. I thought there was some confusing. But overall, I didn't think it was an overall negative bunch of announcements. 33% for Time Will Tell, keep an open mind. And then coming in first place at 39%, AtGames is in trouble. I think a lot of that is lingering from the situation with Zen Studios. It's hard, right? Because no matter what you do as a company offering digital pinball, I mean, no one's not going to look at that and say Zen's the gold medal. That's the top of the food chain there. So with this possibility, depending on the outcome of the legal battle, that Zen might not be working with AtGames anymore, it's hard because you're always going to look at that as a major loss, right? Troy, we talked about the potential of them leaving, but I don't think I've talked to you much ever since like this all went down and it went to court. Do you kind of feel, what I said is fair, or it gives AtGames a chance to kind of spread out and do their own thing?
Well, there's no question that it hurts. I mean, there's no question. I mean, the biggest and best games on the platform are Zen Studios games. There was no way about that.
No.
VPX lessens the blow, and the fact that you may or may not get some Farsight and some Gottlieb and maybe some other stuff coming that we don't know about yet. I think there's a lot coming. The fact that they're showing us so much and yet there's still so much coming tells me there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about yet. But yeah, there's no question. Losing Zen was huge. I'm more worried about Zen right now because even the VR stuff that they just brought out was so underwhelming. Like,
you're not wrong.
Williams games.
Lackluster, yeah.
What is going on? We're gonna wait another 6 months for another 3 games, and like, why aren't they pumping them out? I don't really understand what's going on with Zen right now.
Well, the video
Because they got like 5 people working on it. That's why.
Yeah.
I know, but like, I really expected them to either take off or, really concentrate on console sales or something. But our VR, I thought, would go gangbusters, and then to have that flat of a bites was terrible for them. So,
well, I don't know if you heard this, Troy, but apparently they're tied up in some kind of legal battle, so maybe they're not as focused as they should be.
I don't think they're not even worried about that. Come on, the lawyers have got that covered. So.
Well, it's not like Zen Studios is this entity by itself. It's a lot like, with the announcement of Xbox today. Zen Studios is a part of this large, faceless conglomeration ran by 19K Fox, the Illuminati, and Little Aliens. So you never know really what's happening there. But like, they're so much of their own destiny is out of their hands as well, right? So it is what it is. Anyways. You guys are all awesome. I'm excited about Farsight coming to AtGames. I'm also excited about me getting some shut-eye in a couple minutes. Thank you, everybody, so much for sticking with us for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for being here for Chill and Chat with Michael B. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Thanks, all. Appreciate it.
So I had one Betamax movie. I remember after VHS was a thing, my dad made some kind of barter with this individual across the road. He gave him a last dinner painting for a old color TV and a Betamax player. And the only movie I had on Betamax was possibly one of the worst horror movies of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. But I will tell you, I watched the absolute shit out of that Betamax movie.
Star Wars. We had Star Wars on Betamax.
Was that
Star
it?
Wars.
Was that it?
It's probably worth something now.
Yeah. Essentially,
I bet it is. Yeah.
No, because there were so many of them made.
Oh.
Plus, like